Welcome to our virtual job fair training. I'm Karen Durkee with Corporate Gray, and the purpose of this training is to help you prepare for this Friday's virtual job fair. You'll learn what to do before, during, and after the event, and we'll also have a Q&A session at the end where I'll get to answering your questions. There is a lot you can be doing now to prepare ahead of time for the event, and that's why we hold this training a few days before the event takes place. The training guide PDF that you received contains everything that I'll be showing you here. If you did not get that guide, please send me an email after the webinar and I'll be happy to send it to you. I've put my email address in the chat box. You register for the virtual job fair in two places. We're using two platforms for this event, Corporate Gray Online and eCareer Fairs. And eCareer Fairs is the actual virtual platform where the event takes place. But we have you register in both places because your resume is accessible to the recruiters in both places. And you can search jobs and research the companies using both of these platforms. If you haven't yet registered on the eCareer Fairs platform, I've put the link to the registration in the chat box. Or if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me after the event too, and I'll make sure that you're registered. And again, like I said, eCareer Fairs is the actual platform where the event will take place. And I'll explain all that. So let's start with how you prepare ahead of time for this event. And I'm going to show you using both the eCareer Fairs platform and what you can do to prepare for the event on Corporate Gray Online. And what you do on Corporate Gray Online to prepare ahead of time is the same as if you were preparing to attend an in-person event as well. First, I'm going to go to the eCareer Fairs platform. If you have the link to the lobby handy, you can click on that link. I put it in the chat box. And that will, when you log in, take you directly to the event lobby for this Friday's event. But if you don't have that event link, you can just go to ecareerfairs.com in your browser. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my browser. And you can see here, I've just gone to ecareerfairs.com. Just go to their homepage, and I'll show you how to get to the event from here. On their homepage, you're going to click on Job Seekers. And you're going to enter your email address and the password for your eCareer Fairs account and click Sign in as Job Seeker. And this lands you on your My Events page. And if you ever want to get back to this My Events page, it's up here in the menu in the upper right. If you click here and click on My Career Fairs, that's your My Events page. And this is a great landing page because it shows you in a snapshot all of the events that you've attended in the past or that you're registered to attend on eCareer Fairs. And you can see here you want to find this Friday's event, and there will be some helpful icons. These icons for the event are either going to, you might have to hover over the More icon here, the 3 vertical dots, or you might just see these icons right here under the event. But before I go to those helpful icons, I want to show you a few things you should do to prepare your eCareer Fairs account before you even go to the actual event. So if you look up here in the right-hand corner next to the menu, there's a Head and Shoulders silhouette. If you've uploaded your photo already to your eCareer Fairs account, then you'll see your photo up here. And if you haven't uploaded your photo, and we definitely recommend you upload your photo to your eCareer Fairs account. The reason is while you're text chatting with the recruiters during the event on Friday, you'll make a much more personal connection with them during your conversations if you have your photo uploaded. They'll see your photo while they're chatting with you. You'll see their photo, and it just helps make a more personal connection for those text chats. And the way you can add your photo, if it's not here, is click on that Head and Shoulders silhouette and click Edit Account. And this will let you edit your account information, change your password, but then click on My Picture here and browse on your computer to your photo file and upload it here. And when you upload your photo to your account, it will resize it for you. And then just click Finished or Saved down here, and it will save it then to your account. So that's the photo that will show as you're chatting with the recruiters. All of the conversations with recruiters that you have on Friday will start as a text chat or a text conversation. So that's why you want your photo, so you can make a better connection with them. But the recruiters have the option of, while they're chatting with you, they can change it to a video conversation. So I definitely recommend, while you're here before the event, test your video just in case a recruiter that you're talking to on Friday opts to change that to a video. You'll be prepared. And when you're testing your video, use the same device and browser that you're going to be using to participate in the event. And that way you know that your video is ready just in case. Most of your conversations are going to be text chats, but be prepared for a video chat as well, because that can happen. Recruiters have that option. So be sure to upload your photo, test your video, and then we're ready to go to the event. So now I'm going to click on this menu bar in the upper right, and I'm going to click on My Career Fairs to go back to that My Events page. And find this Friday's event and click on, you have a couple of icons here. Whoops, keeps moving around. There we go. You have a couple of helpful icons here. But the ones I want to talk about right now are, first of all, this registration details. This lets you edit your registration details. And one of those details, for example, is the resume that you aligned with your registration when you registered on eCareer Fairs for this event. Maybe since you registered, you've revised your resume. Well, then you can click on this and upload that new revised resume, and that will be aligned with this job fair registration. So whatever resume you align with the job fair registration, that's the resume that the recruiter, while they're chatting with you, they will be able to preview that resume as they're talking with you. So you want to make sure that's your latest and greatest resume. And this registration details icon, that's where you can make that change if you need to, or change any of your registration details. And then another important icon here is the one to actually enter the lobby. And like I said before, if you have that link that takes you directly to the lobby, it's kind of a long link and it ends with 4 numbers, then you can log in using that link and it will take you straight to the lobby. But if you don't have that, you can log in like I just did and then click this event lobby icon for this Friday's event, and it will take you there straight to the lobby. Notice I can go to the lobby now. You don't have to wait till the event on Friday to visit the lobby and really go to school on these companies to do your research ahead of time and be prepared to talk to these recruiters. One thing you want to do in the lobby now, before the event, is preview each booth. So you see how each of these booth tiles in the lobby have a preview link. And I'll show you what that does. It shows you how the booth is going to look on Friday. And you can see that it not only shows me that company's booth, but it also shows me what reps are going to be attending for that company. And it doesn't give me their contact information, but we encourage you to reach out to these reps on LinkedIn. Now I have their name and I know what company they work for. I can find them on LinkedIn and invite them to join my network and maybe start the conversation early. I can let them know I'm going to be coming to their booth on Friday and I'm looking forward to talking with them. So it gets you on their radar a little early. Another thing I want to show you about the preview Let me see. LifeNet is a good example of this. If I preview LifeNet's booth, you can see that not only do I see the reps that are attending, and notice they've uploaded their photos so I can make a more personal connection with them, but these reps have also added a greeting. And be sure during the event to notice each rep's personal greeting, because these can each be different. And a lot of times a recruiter will put in their greeting what skills they're looking for, what kinds of jobs they're trying to fill, or maybe what location they're trying to fill jobs in. So be sure and pay attention to these personal greetings that the recruiters can add to their profile that you'll see in the booth, because that can sometimes be a lot of information about the company as well. Another thing you can do straight from the lobby is notice that almost all the booths have this jobs icon. And the jobs icon, if you click on it, it will have a link to take you to view all of that company's jobs that are posted on Corporate Gray Online. And you can search those jobs. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute when we go to Corporate Gray Online platform. But just know that all of these companies, or almost all of them, have this briefcase icon, and you can click on that to really do your research and even apply to jobs ahead of time. And then some companies on their jobs icon, like IDA, not only do they have the link here to all of their jobs on Corporate Gray, where you can search their jobs, but this recruiter in this booth has also added some specific hot jobs that they're looking to fill. And you'll see that under the jobs icon too. Just click on more and it will take you to view these hot jobs as well. So there's lots of information you can get about the company and their opportunities just from visiting the booth now and clicking on all of these jobs icons for each company's tile. Also, some companies have uploaded documents to their booth. So if you see this paperclip icon, be sure and click on that as well, because that means that recruiter has uploaded more information that they want to share with you about their company. So you can see how from the lobby here, there is so much information that even if I just log in today, the event's not till Friday, but you can log in today and get all this information about the companies that are coming to really help you prepare for these conversations that you'll be having with recruiters on Friday. Also notice in the lobby, there are 2 pages of booths. So make sure you don't just scroll down the first page of booths and think that's all the companies. There's 2 pages. Make sure you click on page 2 and explore those companies as well. So that's a lot that you can do now from the lobby of your eCareer Fairs account. But I also want to show you what you can do now to prepare using your Corporate Gray Online account. So you can be searching and applying for those jobs now. And there's some other things you can do too. So I am going to go back to my browser, but this time I'm going to go to corporategray.com. And when you go to corporategray.com, you're just going to click the login in the upper right corner and enter your username and password. Don't get them mixed up now. This is your username and password for your Corporate Gray Online account. If you have any issues logging into either of your accounts, please shoot me an email and I can help you after the webinar. Okay, let me log in here to my Corporate Gray Online account. And when you log in, it lands you on the dashboard. And you'll be able to see under your registered job fairs this Friday's event. Just click on View Job Fair, or you can also get to the job fair by clicking the job fairs link as well. But I'm going to click on View Job Fair here. And there's a lot of information on this job fair page. So let me scroll down to attending employers, because there's a few things I want to show you here in this list. First of all, if you click on the company's name, it's going to give you a little bit more information about that company, and it will also show you the link to that company's website or their careers site. But look over here in the posted jobs. If I click on one of these companies' posted jobs, it will run a job search, and I'll go ahead and do it. I'll click on Newport News' jobs. It will run a job search for me on all of Newport News' jobs that are posted on Corporate Gray Online. And from there, if I want, I can filter my search even further by putting in a keyword. Maybe I'm looking for a specific type of job, or I can search by occupation. That's similar to a keyword search. You can see it already put in the company name for me when it ran the search. And there's some other filters here too. I could filter by state. And then if I added any filters, I'd just click the search link again. And when I see the jobs that are returned from my search, I can click on the job, either click on the job title or the view button. Either one will take me to see more about that position. And this apply for this job, if I click on that link, it will take me off of Corporate Gray and straight to Newport News Shipbuilding's job board to that job so that I can see even more about the job and I can apply to the job. And we definitely recommend if you're in the position, the time frame of your job search where you're ready to apply for positions, we recommend you apply to the jobs before the event. And that way, when you come to the event on Friday, let's say I applied for this position and I'm a great match. Now, when I go to the Newport News Shipbuilding booth, for example, and I'm chatting with one of their recruiters, I'm ready to tell them in the chat box exactly what of their jobs I've applied to. I would tell them specifically the job title and the job code, and then I'd let them know why I'm a good match for that position. And you can see that that conversation, instead of me just coming to the conversation with the recruiter and saying, well, here's what I do, what do you have? It's way more effective if you come to that conversation already having done your homework on the company. You've seen what they need and you've applied for the positions that you're a good match for, and now you're ready to tell that recruiter exactly what they need and how you can help them. And that conversation is going to be so much more effective for you on Friday if you've done that homework ahead of time. I also want to show you on this job fair page, besides searching and applying for each company's jobs that are posted on Corporate Gray Online here, we've also included a LinkedIn link. And this link does not take you to that company's LinkedIn page. It actually takes you to run a search on LinkedIn to show you who in your network you're connected to at that company, because we think that's way more valuable. Reaching out to people that work at the company that you're interested in is much more valuable than just going to that company's LinkedIn page. You can learn so much from employees at the companies where you're interested. And the people you reach out to at those companies on LinkedIn, they might not be in a hiring capacity. They're probably not a recruiter. That's okay. You're not reaching out to ask them for a job. You're reaching out to learn more about the company. And this is a great way to make connections at companies and really find out about the hidden job market as well and get on people's radar so that when they learn about a job that maybe even isn't posted for that company, they'll have you in mind for it because you reached out to them. So I hope you'll take advantage of the LinkedIn network links on our job fair page. So those are things you can do on Corporate Gray. You can just go straight to the Find Jobs if you want. You don't have to do it from these links here. And you can put in the job filters. You can also go to the job fair page from here. We also have a lot of transition advice in our transition guide and in our blog and in our newsletter. So hopefully you'll find that helpful as well. Let me go back to my slides. because I also want to mention, since I just talked about using LinkedIn to prepare for the event, we are having a 1 hour free LinkedIn webinar using LinkedIn in your job search next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And it's free. You do need to register ahead of time. And I put the full registration link in the chat box. And again, if you can't see the chat box for any reason, just send me an email after this webinar and I will send you all of the helpful links and information that I've put in that chat box. But I invite you to register ahead of time for our LinkedIn webinar next week. You'll get a lot of LinkedIn tips like what I just gave you. Also, to help you prepare for this Friday's job fair, you've received the employer directory. It was a PDF that was sent to you, and it contains every company's description. And if the company gave us their hot jobs, we've also included that in the directory. So be sure to use this directory as another resource to really help you prepare and do your homework ahead of the event on these companies. Another thing you can do to prepare ahead of time is think about what you want to ask the recruiters while you're chatting with them. And type up these questions ahead of time in a Word document or a text document. And that way you're ready to copy and paste, because these text conversations that you have with recruiters, they're only 10 minutes in length. So you want to have some questions ready to go and also have some answers that you're probably going to be asked by the recruiter. And don't feel like you have to jot these down right now, because we have all of these questions in that job seeker virtual job fair guide that we give everyone who's registered for the event. So all these questions are in there. Everything I'm showing you is in that guide, but it just really helps you make the conversations go smoother. If you have some questions and some answers to what you might be asked by the recruiter ready to go ahead of time. And you can even copy and paste from that document into the text box. So these are the things we just covered, what you can do to prepare on eCareer fairs, and also on your Corporate Gray Online account, what you can do to prepare ahead of time, plus preparing those questions and answers. As you're doing your company research ahead of the event, you'll come up with some questions that you want to ask specific recruiters as you're researching those companies. So make sure you jot those down. We have this pre-event checklist too in that guide, so that you feel really prepared for the event. Okay, during the event, I want to show you how the event is going to work, because a virtual event is very new to a lot of people, and maybe you've even attended a virtual job fair in the past, but it was on a different platform. So this might look completely different for you. You're going to log in to the event on Friday the same way you log in now to prepare ahead of time on eCareer fairs, just like I showed you. And then click on that My Events page. You click that icon to enter the lobby. And here's an example of a past event and what the lobby looks like during the event. You can see it's very similar to how the lobby looks before the event, what I just showed you. Except that, and remember, there's going to be more than one page of booths. And the only difference between before and during in the lobby is during, instead of previewing the booth, you'll have this link on each booth's tile where you can see how many representatives are currently active in the booth. And you can click on that and it will take you to the booth. Or you can also click on the company's name and that will take you to the booth during the event. Also, during the event, you're going to have this blue event status bar at the bottom of your screen. And if you click that arrow in the corner of it, it will expand that status bar. And you can see this just has some nice shortcuts. It's got a shortcut to the event lobby. It also shows you how much time is remaining in the event. Our event on Friday is going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you have the time zone right. And it ends at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But if you are waiting in some lines and it hits 2 o'clock, it does not bump you out of the event at 2 p.m. sharp. It keeps you in those lines. And as long as the recruiters are continuing to start conversations with people in their queues, then you can still have a conversation with the recruiter that you're waiting in line for after 2 p.m. So don't just log out at 2 thinking it's over. If you've been waiting in some lines, stay in those lines, and it's possible the recruiter might start the conversation with you beyond the event time. There's also the link to leave the event as well, and we'll talk about that. But first, I want to show you this because this is really important. When you come to the event on Friday, go to this blue event status bar and see if you have any invites from representatives. What this means is a recruiter saw you on eCareer Fairs ahead of the event because they have resume search access before the event. And if they thought you looked like a good fit for their company or for one of their positions, they clicked invite, and you can see those invitations and you know that that's a person that wanted to talk with you. And I love these invitations. So be sure and check this and click on that. And if you have any invitations, if this is a number higher than 0, you can click on it and it will take you to see your invitations and you can accept them. So you click the thumbs up to accept it, the thumbs down to reject it. And what happens is, as soon as you accept an invitation during the event on Friday, you are automatically put into that recruiter's conversation queue. It doesn't immediately start the conversation with them. They might be busy or they might not be logged in yet, but it will automatically put you in their queue, and it will also flag you as someone that they invited. So you want to be sure to, as soon as you log into the event, check your invitations. If this number here is 0 and you don't have any invitations, don't be discouraged because not very many recruiters take advantage of the invitation functionality. We encourage them to, but they don't all do it. So don't be surprised or discouraged if you don't have any invitations to talk with recruiters. You can still go to any booth and enter any recruiter's queue and get in line to talk with them, whether you've been invited or not. This is just a way to expedite the process if the recruiter wishes. So after you've accepted the invitation, and if you don't see the thumbs up or thumbs down icon to accept it, it might be hidden in that more 3 vertical dots. Just click on that and you'll see it. So do that first. Check when you log into the event after the event has begun. Check to see if you have any invitations. If so, accept them and know that as soon as you accepted, you're put in their queue. If you don't have any invitations, no worries. Now you can just go back to the lobby and start entering as many booths and as many conversation queues as you would like. And let me show you how that works. So let's say I click on a booth in the lobby, and during the event, it looks a little bit different than the preview of the booth ahead of the event. And I'll show you some differences. For one thing, this green dot next to the recruiter tells me that that recruiter is currently in the booth and active in the event. If the dot was gray, that tells me that that recruiter has not entered the booth yet or has come and gone. And if their dot is green, then I can, most likely this enter conversation queue will be on an active link, so I can enter their queue. I also want to show you this. I can also see each of the recruiters have their own conversation queue, and I can see how many people are waiting in line in each of these recruiters' queues. And it tells me my approximate wait time. Typically, that wait time is not going to be as long as it says. And notice that since there are 3 active recruiters in this booth, I can select any one of these to enter their queue and talk to them. And we ask that you only enter one conversation queue per booth because there's a lot more of job seekers than there are recruiters. So please, for every booth you visit, just enter one recruiter's conversation queue. So I'm going to pick one of these 3 to get in line to talk to. And I can look at their personal greetings. That could be a good way to determine which of these recruiters I want to talk to. Or I could also see, if they don't have greetings or if the greeting doesn't give me enough information, I could just pick whoever has a shorter wait line too and enter their conversation queue. And by clicking this enter conversation queue, it does not start the conversation with the recruiter. It puts me in their queue. And when it's my turn, when my name comes up to the top of their list, then they will start the conversation with me. And I'll show you how that looks too in a minute. But I also want to mention that there's going to be this general questions dialog box in each booth. And this is not where you type something personal to the recruiter. This is not a one-on-one chat box. This is a general dialog box where you can ask a general question and all of the recruiters can see your question and any visitor to the booth can see what's entered here. So don't put anything personal. Save that for when you're one-on-one talking with the recruiter. But if you have a general question about the company, you can type it here. And when the recruiters have time, they will be monitoring this general questions box and they'll try to answer your questions. You would just type your general question in here. And anytime you're typing in a chat box, if you want to make the box larger, you can click on that shaded area in the corner and just drag it down and it'll make that text box bigger. So that way you can see more of what you're typing. Okay, so once I've entered a recruiter's conversation queue, I can leave that booth. My place is held in that conversation line. It's like you're waiting in line at a booth at an in-person event, but your place is being held and you can go walk over and get in line at another booth at the same time. And so that's a beautiful thing about a virtual event. So go back to the lobby now and enter another booth and do it all again. Enter another conversation queue. And when your turn comes up in one of the lines that you're waiting in, sorry, I get really excited about this because I really like this platform. And just know that when a recruiter starts a conversation with you, you will get this pop-up box on your screen. And also make sure you have your speakers turned up because you'll get an audible ping if you have your speakers on. And that's kind of nice to let you know, hey, your turn has come up. And this recruiter, and it tells you the recruiter and the company has just started the conversation with you. So you want to click go to conversation. And now it takes you to that text conversation. And if the recruiter so chooses, they'll start text chatting with you. And if they want, they'll change it to a video chat. Typically, they'll let you know before they change it to video. But here I am in the text conversation with an SAIC representative, and it shows me over here to the left, it shows me what they see about me. So they're seeing my profile on eCareerFairs, and they're also previewing my resume as well while they talk to me. And over to the right, I see them. And this is where then I can talk to them. I can type in there and tell them exactly what position at their company I've already applied to. And we can have a conversation and she can answer questions I might have about it. And I can let her know exactly what skills I have that are a great match for her positions. And we can have this conversation through text chatting. And everything that I type and that the recruiter types back to me is being captured, and I'll have access to those transcripts after the event. So don't feel like you have to take notes on what was said, because you will have these transcripts afterward. You might want to be taking notes on other thoughts that you have as you're talking to them. But you don't have to write down anything that was captured in the text box, because you'll have access to that after the event, and I'll show you where that is. Then as I'm talking to them, and it's going to tell me how much time is remaining, these, for this event, it was set to 20 minutes, but for Friday's event, they're going to be set to 10 minutes in length, each text chat. So you don't want to waste any time. If a recruiter is talking with you and they want it to extend the conversation length, they can. But then when you're ready to end the conversation, or they're ready, you can each end it at any time just by clicking the End Now button. But before you end the conversation, or before they end it, ask the recruiter for their email address. Sometimes they'll share it with you, sometimes they won't. But it doesn't hurt to ask, so that you can really properly follow up with them after the event. And then once the conversation has been ended, either by you or by them, you'll have this option to go either back to the lobby or back to the booth. And while I was in the conversation with that recruiter, if my name came up in some other waiting line, my place is saved. That recruiter sees that I'm currently unavailable. I'm in a conversation with another recruiter, but I don't lose my place in the other lines that I'm waiting in. They can pass me, go to the next person, but when they go back to their queue, if I'm available, I'll be top of their queue again. So just know that your place in line is being saved as you're talking with a recruiter, because you can only have one conversation going on at a time. Recruiters, however, can have up to 4 text chats going on simultaneously. They can manage up to 4. So be patient. If a recruiter takes a minute to type back to you, it might be that they're managing more than one conversation at a time. And then just go back to the lobby and repeat. And if you're waiting in several lines, but your turn hasn't come up yet, enter more booths and do some more research on these companies. There's no reason to just sit around waiting at these events. There's a lot you can be doing while you're waiting for your turn to come up. And we have a lot of booths, 2 whole pages of booths. So lots of companies to be visiting on Friday and entering conversation queues with. Also, you will have, when you go to each booth, there will be this link that says leave your resume. And that lets you, if you'd like, you can leave your resume and a note for the recruiters to view after the event. They won't see that during the event, but after the event, they'll have access it's like dropping your resume at their booth with a note to those recruiters, and they will all have access to that after the event. So you can do that. Maybe if you see that the wait time is long and it's almost time for the event to be over, then that's when you might want to leave your resume at that booth. I mentioned that event status bar. Make sure you notice that at the bottom of your screen during the event, because it has lots of good shortcuts, and especially it has that shortcut for you to see if you've got any invitations from recruiters that you should check and accept. And then it's got this link to leave the event. Just closing your browser does not make you leave the event. So if you accidentally close your browser during the event, just open the browser back up, go back into eCareer Fairs, and you will not have lost your place in the lines you were waiting in. You have to have your browser closed or be logged out for more than an hour before it will remove you from any queues that you're waiting in. So to actually officially leave the event, you need to actually click that leave event link. And if you do that, then it removes you from any queues you've been waiting in. So if you come back to the event, you've got to get in those lines all over again. Also, during the event, you're going to have this blue event support link on the right side of your screen. And so if you're having any technical issues with the event, you can click on that and it will open up a text chat with the eCareer Fairs support team. And they'll be able to hopefully help you with whatever technical issues you might be having. So that's how the event works. That's how it's going to look on the day. And I just want to very quickly go over some things you can do after the event. So let's talk about these. And then I'll get to your questions as well. So if you've thought of a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Reviewing your conversations. I told you that you will have access to the transcripts of all the conversations that you had, all the text conversations that you had. If a recruiter changes it to video and you have a video chat, you don't have the transcripts to that. It doesn't capture those. But anything that was typed between you and a recruiter, you'll have access to. And you just, from your My Events page, you can click on that chat bubble there and it will, or it might also be hidden under here. And that's going to take you to see all of your conversations. And they'll all be listed here. There'll be a separate tile for each conversation that you had. And you can click the chat bubble and it will open up the transcripts and show you exactly what you both said to each other, what you both typed. And you can also download that conversation if you want. Definitely recommend you follow up with the recruiters, especially if you were able to get their email address. And maybe they told you about a position that you didn't know about at the company. Then go ahead and apply to that position and then follow up with the recruiter with a tailored resume showing them. Got some feedback here. There we go. Showing them exactly how your skills map to the job that they've told you about or that you've applied to. So that gives you a chance to really tailor your resume after you've learned more about the company's job. And then you can follow up and send that to the recruiter. If they did not share their email address with you, follow up with them on LinkedIn. You have their name, you know what company they work for, you know their job title. So find them on LinkedIn and invite them to join your network and let them know that you enjoyed meeting with them at the Corporate Grade Job Fair and any other information they might be interested to know. And also, like I mentioned before, but I'm going to say it again because we think it's so important for you to look for other people in your network that work at the company that you're interested in and reach out to them because employees at a company are such a valuable resource for your job search. And I'm not just talking about the recruiters at a company. Anyone who works at that company who you have a connection with, reach out to them for information about their company. It can really help you with your job search. And I mentioned the free LinkedIn webinar that is next Tuesday. I hope you'll join me for that. I give you a lot of LinkedIn tips for your job search. It's geared toward transitioning military and veterans, but any job seeker can benefit from the tips that I'll be giving you next week. And I'll also share a handout with you. So lots of information there as well. So I'm going to look in the chat box and see if anyone has a question. And again, my email is in the chat box, so please feel free to reach out to me if I don't get to your question. Let me know and I'm happy to help you outside of this training. And some people say a recruiter could not upload a resume. It's always a good idea if you have a recruiter's email address, tailor your resume to that company. And if it's a specific job, that's even better. And follow up with that recruiter and send them your resume just to make sure that they have it. That's a very good advice. You cannot talk to several recruiters at the same time. You can't be in more than one chat at a time, but you can be in more than one conversation queue waiting in line to talk with them. And when your turn comes up, whichever conversation queue you're waiting in, where your turn comes up next, that's the recruiter will start that conversation, and your place in the other booth's lines will be saved while you're talking with them. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but then I'm going to stay in the webinar and answer any of your questions. I know some people can't see the chat box, so you're welcome to unmute yourself. And I'll stop the recording now and see if I can get to any more questions. And thank you for anyone who's leaving now. I really appreciate your time in taking the time to prepare for this event ahead of time by watching this training. Thank you so much, and best wishes for your job search.